Hi everyone, happy Thursday. Thanks for joining me for another voice lesson this week. Today's gonna be a little bit different. We're gonna sing just a little bit, but what I wanna talk to you about today is your mindset and your confidence and how that plays a huge part in how you develop as a singer. Of course, you should believe in yourself and have confidence in your abilities, but it's tricky when we feel like technically the note is just not there. You can't hit a certain note. Something's too low, something's too high. You can't sing it in that full belt sound that you want. Or, the way the singer that you're imitating sings it, you can't do it the same way. So it's easier said than done to believe in yourself when the facts are there that you just can't sing it the way you want to. But I'm here to tell you that you can, and you will. You'll be able to get there. So first of all, it's believing that you can and will get there eventually. There are certain notes that are too low. You can work your hardest and reach those notes. It takes hard work and practice. And if you vocalize every day, it doesn't need to be hours and hours and hours. You do need to work at it, and it's like lifting weights. It's like developing those muscles, working your intercostal muscles, really strengthening your voice. Of course, that backs up believing in yourself, but it's so important to believe that you can hit the notes. Now, this will help anywhere from just starting to warm up all the way through a song that you feel like was out of your reach. It's been proven time and time again with students I've worked with. If you can get out of your own way, if you can get out of your head and not be constantly judging yourself, that didn't sound good. I don't think I'm gonna be able to hit it. Uh-oh, it's getting too high. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. Oh, I can't do this part. Oh, this part's too low. All those things, we get in our own way, and it's just like placing roadblocks that don't need to be there. And it's hard enough sometimes to hit those big notes or to get enough breath, to feel really prepared for those notes. But when our brain is also getting in the way and telling us we can't do it, then it's certainly that much harder. So here are a few tips on how you can set yourself up for success. Now, when you're warming up and you feel like you want to increase your range and you're working on those notes that you feel like are out of your reach, always start with a nice, big, deep breath. And I want you to think low and full. I want you to think about that breath being really low and rooted down. So take a breath that kind of grounds you into the floor so you feel like your feet are on the ground, you're steady, and you're ready. When you're working up high and going for notes that you feel like are out of your range, first and foremost, I want you to decide that you're gonna go for it and that you're not gonna hold back. And that when you start getting up there and you feel like it's too high, keep going. Just know that you can prep with enough space and enough air that you can hit those notes. That's a huge part of it right there. And I know this may sound crazy. And of course, at some point, you're gonna reach the top. You're gonna reach your ceiling, and that's it. When we're working up high, of course, it's nice to have a lifted feeling, that yawn space, lifting your soft palate. And there is a little bit of a lift with your eyebrows, just feeling completely lifted posture-wise. But in general, if you're feeling tense and your eyebrows are as high as they can go, you feel like a cartoon character, and you're getting higher and higher, that tension and a little bit of that anxiety about how high it's going will not help you. If I just have everything really tight and cramped and I'm just anticipating how high that's gonna go, it doesn't help me. So really try to maintain a relaxed face. And the higher you go, I want you to think about low, deep, grounded breaths, almost as if as you sing up, that there's this grounding. As you create that yawn space in your preparation, when you take a breath, that there's a lift there, but also, not only are we going up in our mouth and in our space here and feeling that head space is ready, but you're taking that low grounded breath. So the higher you get, think about grounding yourself even more and really stay relaxed. Staying relaxed is key, especially when we're going up high and we start to feel tense. And I also sometimes do this with my hands. Visualization like this really helps me. Sometimes I lift like this and then feel kind of a settling grounding here. Another great trick when you're singing up high, instead of feeling like the sound is going straight up and down, is singing straight forward. It honestly helps to point. If you can't necessarily visualize the tone going forward, then actually point as you're singing. It'll be a lot more seamless, tends to be a lot more legato, and just healthier in general. If we feel like it's starting low, going up, and coming back down, it just takes too much energy. If this isn't working for you, also you can try a circle. As we're singing low, and you're descending, and you're feeling like this is as low as I could possibly sing, and your face is getting really weird. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Just relax. As we descend, I want you to think about that really nice relaxed mouth as well, and pretend you're yawning. Yaw. So there's a few tips here to singing low. We want to create that prepped space, yet again, just like we did up high. Also, another great tip to descending is the visualization of climbing upwards. So the opposite. As we're descending, I tell my students, pretend you're walking upstairs. So, ya. And I did a little bit of a smile space. Sometimes I need a little extra help. So instead of our face feeling like it's elongating, relaxing like when we're up high, that it's getting lower and deeper and longer, that doesn't always help. So thinking that there's a lift. Ya. Again, it all comes back to believing that you can go there. Last tip for getting in your own way and your confidence when you're singing, and especially when you're warming up, do not look at the piano. If you're looking at the piano, then you're paying attention to those notes and you're seeing them get higher and higher. Talk about a visualization that is not going to be helpful. You're climbing up the scale and you're watching the notes get higher and higher on the piano, and it's making you more stressed out or more anxious about, I'm getting too high, I'm getting too low. So don't look at the piano. Lastly is belting, and belting is a big one for all of us because it's that big voice, and that voice that can be really damaging. So I'm cautious when I work on belting and I say just go for it, because at some point, if it hurts, if it's tense, if it's tight, it's not healthy. So as much as you should go for it, stop when it turns uncomfortable. And that's when you know that it's not quite the healthy place. And then you can go back to, okay, how do I approach this in a healthy way? With my belt, as with anything, we start with a really nice, deep, low, grounded breath. I think a huge portion of belting is just the simple confidence that you can. I come across so many students that don't believe they can belt because they don't try. They're too scared. And yes, it's good to be cautious and protect that voice, but also at some point you've got to let go and believe in yourself. My next voice lesson will be all about working on a healthy belt. But one tip that I will give you right now that has a lot to do with the confidence and belief in yourself is setting yourself up for success. So with belting, it's all about that vowel. Whatever vowel you feel like you can make the biggest, best sound. And sometimes it ain't pretty.
Yeah! Yeah! Yeah!
Yeah, my belting video might be kind of irritating, but there's a big one. Don't be afraid to sound ugly. It's okay, it doesn't need to sound great the first time it comes out. I always say I would rather you make huge, loud, big mistakes than be too timid and no sound comes out at all. As a singer, we need to support. We need to have that grounding and that breath. Yes, that's there, but then we need to use it. So when you belt, you need to use that air. Instead of just popping it out of our neck, which will hurt, or popping it out of our throat, which is tight and tense, use the air and believe that that air is gonna get you to that note. If you don't think you can hit it, you're not gonna be able to hit it. If you believe you can hit it, and if you prep and you give it that space, you can give it a darn good try. And if you go for it and you don't quite make it, at least you tried. And then you know it's something to work towards. So to recap, set yourself up for success. Do not look at the piano. Take deep, grounded breaths. And believe in yourself. Believe that you can hit those notes. And lastly, practice makes perfect, or close to. So practice, practice, practice. Vocalize every day, and you'll not only see results, but you'll feel more confident as a singer. So thanks again for watching this week. I will be working on our belt. So stay tuned for that video. If you have not seen my Disney Princess voice lessons, check those out right here. Guys, there are still some tips in there. A lot of the same rules apply, so even if you're not desiring to be a Disney princess, there are some really great vocal tips in there for you as well. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I will see you all next week. Happy singing!